Yeah, you should have in on this.
No. That's pretty fun. How are you, sir?
Good, good.
Good.
How about you?
Good.
What you got?
Public hearing number 9. Number 9, let's see. Let's just see if there's something updated. We're gonna take out all of that. Goes with us. He said it's supposed to be able to better understand.
That's what this is.
It's all right, as long as you're still there.
There you go.
Bring it up. I don't have that house.
Google.
Well, yo, you don't get any calls. Yeah, that's why I've been telling them they had I was in a fire. Almost just went with it. Don't know what I do, but I just go there.
So 308.
Yeah. Let's pray. Let's open up our meeting. Y'all ready? Y'all pray with me. Lord, we're grateful to have everyone here tonight. We're grateful to have Thomas here tonight. We ask that you bless us and watch over us. We ask that you watch over our emergency personnel as they go out in our community to make sure everyone's safe. We ask that you watch over our business tonight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. It's our work session. Looking down the list. First thing on the topic is ACG proposal and updates. Mark, you want to take this?
Yes, sir. We've got really there should be two requests and just an update. The first one is about a police server, a new server we need, and I'll let Chuck go into this. And the second one is going to be about Windows 11 and some changes that Windows 10 will not be working anymore after
October 14th.
October 14th. We knew about this last year. We've had this budgeted in our budget for this year.
Yeah, I remember talking about.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, so your current police server that runs your GCIC system and such, it is end of life and end of support. So if that server was to go down, normally we keep a Dell warranty, extended warranty on them. So overnight they would ship parts, that sort of stuff. This one we would not be able to get parts for, so we'd be scrambling looking to find parts somewhere. So it's kind of not a great thing with especially our dependence on that server. So we're looking at upgrading it, and we actually went to Dell and got a registration on it. So we were able to get a pretty good deal on the server off of MSRP. So that is to actually completely move all the software off of that server and onto a new server and completely set it up. Change everything from GCIC and the police department. That's one of those that you don't have to do it, but if you got a lot of this there, then the Windows 11 replacement. So when Microsoft in their infinite wisdom has decided as of October the 14th, Windows 10 will no longer receive security updates nor be supported. So if you aren't receiving security updates, in this day and time, your cyber policies and that sort of stuff, they kind of require you to do. So, we went through, checked all of y'all's current computers. 8 of them were all that needed to be replaced. They're, usually over 5 years old, so they don't have current processors that will run Windows 11. We were able to update all the other existing computers to Windows 11 and have had no problems. Then the Ring Central, that is a replacement phone system for your current Windstream hosted system. Me and Mark and Megan had talked about this, of getting better service, better features at a lower price. And we, after sitting down and kind of looking at everything, we were able to cut about $1,000 a month off of y'all's current bill.
And that's with Windstream and the internet,
Yeah.
some other hard lines that we don't need anymore. Because part of that came off of when we updated SCADA. We didn't have to have some of that, and so we went line by line through every one of the accounts. And so this one, we signed it up, it didn't cost us anything to get started. And basically, it's going to run us this first sheet right here. It tells you the number of phones and the rates. And so it's going to roughly cost us $347 a month. And like I said, so we pay roughly $1,400.
What's the setup? What are your phones?
That's right.
The setup fee.
We do. And that's one of the things that benefit too is now, because y'all are purchasing this with our help, y'all don't have to worry about making changes or calling Windstream to make changes anymore. It's covered under y'all's MSP program that we cover y'all's computers. Y'all submit a ticket for your phone the same as you do with that. There's no extra charge for doing it.
Okay, awesome.
So,
The other part is that you can bring your city line directly to your cell phone. Right? So somebody wouldn't know that you're on your cell phone out on the job or something to that extent. So nothing changes.
right. You just get a lot more features too, because one of the things that will help, I think a lot of y'all that take a lot of calls, especially when you're on the road and that sort of stuff, is it has what they call AI note taking. So like Mark's driving down the road, he needs to be safe, he's gonna be hands-free, he can't take notes. Well, with this system, he can set it up where every time he takes a call, every call of his is summarized and the notes are emailed to him after the call. So, it helps with a lot of stuff like that, even in meetings. Does the same thing.
And the key to this is we're saving $1,000
Yeah, that's awesome.
and getting a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more features.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
Anderson County Schools is trying it out too at Woodford.
Okay.
So going back, Mark, in our budget, I remember your budget time, we did budget.
This is just
something for this, because we didn't discuss it. Do you remember what we had budgeted versus what this cost?
I do not off the top of my head. Megan, I don't have, I can tell y'all that tomorrow, I just don't have the budget with me.
I knew it was something that we had.
We did, because we all had planned that this time last year, but I can get that.
So council, you're looking at 2 things in front of you. One is for the GCI computer system for $14,761. The next one is City Hall, which comes to a total of $17,201.
If I remember correctly, it's not budgeted. It did not get budgeted, that's why we're bringing it tonight. Put it in the budget. Discuss it.
This,
The 17 or the 14?
None of this is on, none of this is budgeted.
felt like this was on the budget last year.
Talked about it at budget time. I could be wrong.
One thing with y'all cyber, and Brad would have to tell me, I think some of this may qualify under your cyber grant.
Yeah, I think the upgrades, I think the Microsoft upgrades, if we're hoping to get that through the summer.
And maybe that's where we were talking about, yes. Council, y'all have any conversations about computer upgrade?
Where are the 8 computers located? Tell me what it was.
I don't remember the exact people that had them. I know one was Ryan's, I think.
One of them was Sarah's too.
Sarah, there was various ones that have been
Just
bought over the years.
Throughout the city.
Yes.
Still been profitable on GCIC?
We'll be updating that shortly. Yeah, it's a discussion. We start budgeting in 2 weeks.
What date in October did you say this?
October 14th. The only other kind of caveat to this is price registration ends, I think it's the 14th of this month.
Okay.
So I can get it extended if we need to.
Okay.
You know, just let me know that and I'll go back and get an extension.
So how are we gonna fund this?
It's gonna be funded through the general fund, that's the only, or through a water transfer. That's the only option, or the 2 options we have.
And they were hoping that the grant.
Brad, you'll update that in the next topic, where we are with the grant.
All right. Y'all have any more questions for them?
Which grant was that? Just to make a note.
Yeah, the technology upgrade grant that we submitted.
Okay.
Chuck, y'all do not have to stay for the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very
Yeah,
much.
you're on.
Any other questions come up?
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. You have a great day.
Well, nice job on the ring, central, saving $1,000 a month, that's awesome. All right, next is grant updates. Brad, what do you have for us?
Right? You should have a little sheet, updated sheet like this in your notebook, looks like you do. Okay, so, and I'll just go down the list here, and please interrupt if you have any questions as we go. The first one is the playground surface grant. As you all know, that we've been awarded that, and that's currently in administration. That's going to pay for the recycled rubber that we're using on the playground surface. We've gotten that grant, but we haven't drawn down any funds yet because we're trying to do it in tandem with the playground equipment grant. The playground equipment grant has made it through the pre-application process and has been selected by the state to be submitted to the National Park Service. And the National Park Service is reviewing the federal application now. That's a 50% match. Many of you all participated in our initial fundraiser at the Oyster Bar. And that was really a nice event. We're trying to raise some of that match. The 159 in the playground surface, we're actually going to use that as part of our match in the playground grant. So that takes our obligation down from $369,000 down to $209,000. So we're just looking for other grants that we might be able to supplant and peel that onion, and then we won't have to raise so much on that.
Mark, is this the one you were talking about you were gonna go out into the community and solicit funds? How are you coming with that?
We were working with Emily on that, getting all her paperwork, flyers. I've started calling folks, telling them we're coming. So until I can give them even the pledge card,
Right,
'cause I'm not asking them to write a check now,
right,
just a pledge card,
right.
once we find out where we are. But feel free to help me with that though.
Then there are the two Georgia Department of Transportation streetscape improvement grants. This is, unfortunately, it's not for asphalt, right? We always need more asphalt. But this comes up every few years. And this will increase pedestrian safety in the downtown area. We'll probably get some more downtown lighting down in the downtown area, some beautification, some benches and things like that, some enhanced sidewalks, and some safety crosswalks and this kind of thing, just to kind of polish these areas. and that we've been awarded those, and we're doing preliminary engineering with the DOT and that's gonna be quite a long, extended process, is my understanding. And so it's gonna probably be in pre-engineering for another year or two, okay?
What about the other one?
The Georgia Street and Massachusetts Street one, or the one down,
The third one that hadn't been awarded yet.
Yeah, that's the one I'm asking.
Yeah.
perfect timing, thank you for the transition. That, under the submitted grants, that's the old 441 and Central Avenue application. And I've been gently harassing DOT staff on that one. And the third round was far more competitive. They had 88 grants for this particular one, but we're still got our fingers crossed that we'll get that one too. Okay. Technology upgrade, you just looking at some machines and some software upgrades. We haven't heard back from that. I believe I'll have to go back and look, but I believe that since we have applied for the grant, we might be able to, anything that we do spend on the technology upgrade, which we've got to have, may be on a reimbursed basis. And so hopefully we'll know sooner rather than later. It's been a little bit a while on the technology upgrade, and I'll have to let you know about that. But that'll help us with some equipment that we just talked about. There's also been, for over a year, there's been 2 FEMA grants in, the turnout gear and the fire engine grant. So we understand that I think the turnout gear is for 5 or 6, I guess they're turning out right now. So we hope they're safe. But this is for fire turnout gear, which is the pants and the fancy suspenders and the things that they take into emergencies. The fire engine grant, and I'm not responsible for the turnout and the fire engine grant. There's a pre-existing consulting company by JMCM that's submitted these. But their FEMA grants, I'm pretty familiar with them. We do understand that there would be a substantial match with the fire engine grant. It's not a match per se, they don't require a match, but to get the fire truck, the ladder truck we want, could be a lot of money. Could be maybe $500,000, okay?
And this same grant company he's talking about, that's who gave the city the $80,000 for the radios about 4 years ago with Jonathan and so forth. And they're out of Alabama, they got paid a separate fee once all that came through. And so Dave has used them on this other stuff.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
So this fire engine grant, is there a time frame that you could expect approval?
You know, I would expect to have heard by now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we've been working with GEMA on some of these other grants in process, and they often know about the FEMA grants. So those FEMA grants are directly go to FEMA. Some of them some of the grants we're going to be talking about here in a little bit are from FEMA, but we go through the state on those. So
I guess what I'm saying, SPLOS 8 was what, February of March
April
of
1st of 2027.
27. Would that grant fall in line? Because we got what, 500,000 for the fire department?
so that's y'all's budget
Right.
thing. I'm not privy to a lot.
Right. But would that fall in line with?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Oh, usually with the federal funds, you have plenty of time to expend them.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. If you guys have looked at some sales tax money to match with this, don't worry, it'll be okay. All right, I'm going to double check that, but usually you have 24 to 48 months to do those, and that's another reason why it's okay for us to do the playground equipment, because it's a federal grant too, and it's on that same timing cycle. Okay, so good question. We've got 2 grants, and we've revisited these grants. These were prepared before I came on board, and we're revisiting those. There's 2 issues that we're having to figure out, is figuring out the exact match And then we'll have to come back to you all and get approval or not approval for the match there. And the second piece is we have to make sure that the equipment is compatible with the counties, because the siren is supposed to be integrated with the county siren system, so we don't have to, you know, once it automatically goes off at the county, it goes off on our siren too. And so I'm working with the county EMA people to make sure that the equipment is compatible. And it looks like there might be an additional piece of equipment, so this 53 might go up a little bit. And so then that will determine the match requirement. Also, because we were designated for a couple of the disasters, we're hoping to get a discounted match down from 25 down to 15%. And then, but once we get that exact number, the state wanted us to just have a letter from the mayor saying we'll just do the match without naming the amount. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. We gotta have a dollar number because you guys have a budget. You know, there's things. So we're still working that out. But and then the 4 siren grant is a little bit rich right now, I think, and it may. We'll see if that's advisable to you all. I'll have some conversations with you all, but that might have to wait another year.
And the biggest difference is the 25%. Who's paying that? This project started out with Piedmont University, who originally presented the grants, and then Brad came on and they collaborated together. There's been some discussion that obviously they want us to split the one siren that's on their campus. That one would come first to repair and replace that one. The second grant is the expanding to the 4 other sirens. And that's where the numbers jump way up there. And they're like, we don't need those, we just need the one. So that would leave just the city to come up with that larger match.
And would that not be a county issue?
They got them, but they don't have them in city limits. So it's just whether we want to provide that as additional service inside the city limits.
But would the county not be responsible to do that?
Well, they're not in the city limits.
Correct.
They don't have them in the county, it's just the municipalities.
They don't have them in the county.
They have one at the 911 center.
Well,
And what percentage were we hoping to get down to from 25?
Hoping to get down to 15. We were designated in Helene, and we were also designated in about 3 other previous existing designations, disaster designations. So the match drops if you're designated in a particular designation. I can't recall the various storms, but Helene was the most recent.
Okay. We've had sirens in Demorest in the past, and I bet most of our citizens think that we still do.
So do we just have that one right now? We don't have that one.
Piedmont has that one
It has that
that
one.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Okay.
Now, if we do get the one siren, that's your property. Even though it's on their campus, it's your property.
It also means we maintain
Yeah,
it.
it's true, and that's part of the deal, but we're trying to get it as low of maintenance as possible. We're trying to just get it on a pole, get a couple of radio receivers, and it does it automatically, hopefully. That's how those work.
But as they age, so goes technology.
And I think you participate in a cell phone emergency system as well.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, and so that's kind of where we are in our grant applications. I'll be happy to answer any questions. It's been a year, so I'll be reaching out to you all again to doing some interviews, and we'll update our tactical analysis and make sure that we have our list of grants that we're pursuing that you all prioritize.
Thank you, Brad.
Any questions for Brad, guys?
Mark had said something to you about fire department grants. Is there any?
Right, well, we've got the turnout gear and the fire engine grant. I haven't been able to find any additional ones since that time. I have consulted with the chief, and he is kind of wanting to switch over to me. I didn't want to step on the other consultant's toes. the chief has indicated that he want to go with me, and I'd be happy to see what I can get him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next is discussion of a vehicle for the SRO, School Resource Officer.
What this is Casey has found a used, police car. It's a 2019, 44,000 miles, decked out with everything that needs to be with the sirens and the radios, et cetera, for $17,000. And we front the cost. We own the vehicles titled in the city of Demorest, and we will invoice the county school system for this exact amount, and they will be reimbursing us after that.
So we will own these cars,
That's
they
right.
will be paying for them.
They're paying for it. It will be titled. If y'all approve it, everything's filled out in here for the city of Denver.
How will they pay for it?
How they gonna pay us back? General fund, I guess. I mean, nobody
Is
asked.
that like monthly?
Oh, no, that's gonna be a monthly check. I mean, it's just gonna be a check, a single check back.
How long would it take to recoup the money for the car?
30 days net.
I'm taking these funds out of the probation account, so they're not being fronted by the general fund.
Yeah.
And, we will reimburse that account. Joe, in case you should at least gotta get 3 years out of this car, subject to the way it's driven, the way it was driven by, it was owned by a security company, so it wasn't a police car with the high speeds and so forth, and it was out of Pennsylvania. So it's a silver car, which is a little lighter than the darker color, and there will be a wrap on it. Casey has totally designed that, and Casey sent out some proposals, and I told him I was speechless. I didn't know how to describe some of them.
It's got the Demorest line on it, for
And,
those of us that grew up in Demorest.
and I told him he'll rise or fall with that design. And so he's now gotten the principal to approve the design.
So routine maintenance on this car is going to be going through our mechanic.
Yeah, for brakes and tires and oil changes and stuff.
Any cost of equipment for maintenance is going to be reimbursed.
Everything is supposed to be 100%.
They've already sent us like an Excel sheet, and it's like repairs and maintenance, salaries, just different things, and Casey will fill that in each month and submit it, and then they're expected to reimburse us.
Correct.
Casey, how do you think they're gonna pay us back the car? Do you think over a year, or what do you think? Sir,
Hold on, so,
a little a month?
no,
Within a month.
Oh, within a month? Okay,
As soon as I send them the invoice,
Mhm.
they get the invoice into their finance and they'll have checks.
and he'll go ahead and send that in tomorrow or, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll go ahead and start that process. Because we have them designed the bill that they want us to build, use as the invoice.
Okay, very good.
So Rhonda will be involved along with their CFO.
Okay. Awesome. Any questions?
I'll say this, Joe came by our school today, the Success Academy, was introduced to our faculty, presented himself extremely well. We're used to having a SRO available at all times, he being at Demorest and a little bit further away. I feel like just from faculty field feedback, he made them feel very assured that he would take care of us in any type of situation. So I felt I'm very proud of that fact.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions about the car?
Casey's had the car checked out, they've driven it a day or two, so.
So us getting the title of the car in the future, trading that car in or doing whatever with that car, that money comes back to us.
Yeah, there's nothing, I mean, Patrick says, y'all own the car, y'all buy the car, we'll reimburse you, you own 100% of the car.
All right, very good. Next, discussion fire department options. Mark, it's my understanding we don't have any information.
The county could not produce the documents, so I have nothing.
Okay, very good. Next is a discussion of the garbage truck.
All right, we have two choices here, and we really, Mark, Caudell, and Brian's guys have really done a good job of keeping the truck going. We've had some issues this year, and they're very concerned of what's life that's left in this truck. And we all talked about this last year, and when I went down to Savannah for GMA, met both of these guys with these two options down there. They had it at the trade show there. So both guys have brought their trucks up here. Brian and his guys have driven the trucks. There's pictures of the different examples. Jerry came over on the first one, which is the Sansom, which is the first one in your package here. Brian recommends the first one, even though it's more expensive. It's at $229,000. The Mack truck, we're very leery of that truck and the back end of it. It is the same brand that we have on our truck now. It's got a lot of manual parts to it. He said the quality is night and day difference.
Oh, the compactor?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, okay.
These trucks are 20 yards. The existing truck now is 14 yards. They go to the landfill twice a day on these days. They can go no more. They may not even have to go one day, but I told them I prefer them to go dump the trash. Don't let it sit in those trucks overnight. And the bin where they throw the trash in first is like 3.5 feet. It's double the size of his 14 cube, so they can throw more trash in the back before they have it compacted. You saw the doors, how it backs up. It smashes everything, and it's just easier. The greatest thing that's in there for Jamie, it's got an air conditioning in it. And so whether they, and so that means it's got heat. Another truck, I don't even know if it has heat or not, but it has definitely seen its life. He gives us a value of about $15,000, what that garbage truck is worth. Really thought about keeping it. There's some grants too on recycling, turning that truck into a recycle truck if that's something we want to pursue. But the other truck, let's see the price.
Were these both like display models?
No, they're spec.
Okay.
What did you say? Okay, yeah, 217 is the Mack truck, and both sales guys were very good. Service is nearby because it's on the Freightliner. It's a Cummins engine for the service. Yeah, 217. And so service on anything is not a problem. Trucks are safer. Even more concerned, with Charles riding on the back. The tippers are the same for what we do. And I've got two funding options here. I've got one through GMA, which is a service opportunity called a direct lease program. And they also, once you fill out this master lease that's in here at any point in time, you can go to them and they're already pre-approved. They finance fire trucks, heavy equipment. It's got a list of everything. It also tells you what the market rate is now, and it also tells you what the amortization schedule you would use. So really this would be, it's proposed at 5 or 7 years. And with GMA using $229,000 in payment on 7 years is $3,025. On 7 years, 5 years, it's $4,054. So I use the 7 year, that's $36,000 a year. I'll tell you the funding mechanism in a minute. But what we do is we fill out this, we send them 3 years of our financial audits, and a couple other documents. They go through, approve us, and then we're ready to go. You own it at the end of the 5 or the 7 years. It's called a lease program. a cheaper rate than the market rate is at the bank. So that rate is 4.59 for 7 years. On Traditions Bank, who has all of our accounts now. But you'll see this where it says Exhibit A. Right in here, it tells you all the items that they finance and the number of months. On Traditions Bank, the rate for the 7 years is 6.25. And he approved this up to 250, but I'm always trying to get the cost of it under 229, if that's the one y'all go with. And that payment is $3,380, so about $300 more with the difference in that rate per month. And the annual debt service is $40,560. Same deals where they take the collateral of the truck, you get it back, or you pay it off. There's no prepayment penalties on either one of them. Near the back, you can see the pictures of the old truck. And the biggest part, the other part that I get complaints about a couple times a month, is people complaining about the smell. I like to call it the garbage juice. When it gets smashed, the bottom has rusted, and it falls in the parking lot and roads in front of your house.
See the trail
Yeah.
sometimes,
It's
depending on what my neighbors are throwing away.
So, but you can just see the condition of the truck and so forth, so, but it's, the repayment source that I have is we have a garbage fee that is $16 in the city, maybe, and 20 in the county. And that brings in roughly $12,000 to $14,000 a month. And about $65,000, I'll show you when we go back to our financials later, where that payment can come from. You know, that's where I'm looking at, it is not budgeted for the end of this year.
Sure.
But we can do that because, again, these trucks are spec. And so it's whoever comes up with the first check to get that truck. And so that's how it would be, the debt service on it. And we'll talk about debt when we go back.
So we could get a garbage truck and a fire truck.
You gotta give me a funding mechanism.
Well, you just said that was
Probably
about,
take it from garbage.
yeah,
Still gotta pay for the dumping fee.
yeah.
I don't know.
The 229, is that total price or is there tax on top of it?
City doesn't pay
The
taxes.
city doesn't pay tax. Awesome.
So, a little recalculation. Calculate 230,000 instead of 217. 4.59 for 7 years, that's $3,206 per month. If you do it at 6.25, because they use different numbers, that comes to $3,387.
So it's a $4,000 swing between the two on the annual service. Because it's 36 and 40.
They are calculating it at this price. And the other one's calculating it at 250.
I did it at 209. But that's fine.
What's the difference? Annual basis?
Oh, the difference is $186 in the two per month. But clearly the GMA rate's a much better rate.
Yeah. So, what do you think the boys ought to do with the old truck? Scrap them
No, keep
Compact
it for
it.
now. And use
as
it.
a garbage truck, maybe not recycling, or just do something different with the truck?
Oh, no.
Take the bed off.
What was wrong with that truck? What issue did we
The
have?
bed had to be taken totally off and re-welded. And that's what cost us $25,000.
And they had to make a part for it.
Yeah.
Part wasn't available.
You can put it out there for sale.
Yeah, but the chassis is good on the truck. The motor's good, and
I can't answer.
where's Brian? Let's call him.
I saw one of these salesmen, and I was questioning him about buying it, or, 15 grand, and he said that the chassis and motors, sometimes it was a gamble for people to buy them. So he said that it was 50-50 whether or not they were good or not, whether they last, because they couldn't dictate all these slow miles around the city, what the wear and tear does and stuff.
Yeah.
So they said that that's why they paid so little.
I just wonder if we had a use for just that part of the truck.
I love the idea of looking
If we
for
could
a grant
convert
for
it.
recycling
Yeah,
and using it for that.
Keeps me from driving the cars.
yeah. Yeah, because you'd have to drive it to where,
That was,
That's
as
Ton
far
of
as
money.
the Clark and I had, yeah, we.
That's the question.
yeah.
So how many days a week do we run this truck?
2.5.
2.5. So we have room for expansion.
I'm sorry.
We have room for expansion, pick up other customers.
Well, they were having trouble. They had to go to the other half day on Wednesdays because of all the boxes
Right,
and things of that sort. They couldn't get it done. So, if we want to expand the service to see, sure, they would have to design and see
which will
which
give us
direction.
more income.
That's right, but they have to design it, because we don't wanna just go one for a
Right.
few houses. It's gotta be the direction that they're going already.
Right.
And so that would be a design for them to
Are
figure
they,
that
The
out.
income on the trash is
yeah, that's good.
after we start making the payment, it's very little after the dumpies. Like it pays for itself.
Right.
But it's very little.
And we can keep living along. Either way, what y'all wanna do, I'm just giving you the information.
How do the guys feel about adding more stops?
They don't have an opinion.
They don't? Okay.
I mean, they've never mentioned it,
Sure,
but Brian knows we discussed this,
okay,
with expanding and things of that sort.
right,
Because really the half day is kind of tough,
sure,
because the other crews is already out there working,
yeah,
and then they gotta stop after working a half a day and try to find them and go pick up whatever it is they're working on.
sure,
And really with this new truck, with them not making that hour round trip to the dump, they probably do it in 2 days or a day and a half
yeah,
anyway.
So,
that's right. That's right.
but just like the new subdivision back there with America's Home Place, 114 houses, that's a simple one to go to once we come out right there. So that's all in the thought process. All in the thought process, for sure.
And both of these trucks have the same capacity.
Yeah.
But the truck itself is the difference in some of the components on the Mac or less.
Well,
And it is something that we could go either way, wait, kind of kick it down the road. But it is something that come up, a year ago when we had the problem.
We had to borrow vehicles for 2 months.
So is this truck readily available? Or is
Oh, it's
there-
ready to go. He drove it, he had to go get it from, the salesman's in Atlanta, he had to drive down to Statesboro, drive a garbage truck all the way up here, turn around and drive it back all the way back down there, and come back to Atlanta, his office.
well, that means the price comes down, all the miles they put on there, the price.
And the other one came from, it's over there near the College Park, near the airport.
But 3 months from now, it's still gonna be as available as,
It doesn't matter, it's what I was saying, whoever comes in with the
Right.
check. Because you've got multiple salesmen out there trying to show the same truck. That we build just like fire trucks, there's really not specs a whole lot out there.
right,
They're building them, that they have, each of these had different sizes down at the show, down at GMA. So, and that was the other part, again, we'd be going from 14 to 20 cars, and that makes a big difference in what they.
What about, does it change the driver's license type? Does it
No.
change that at all? No, so, okay,
I would say it's still a CDL.
okay.
Class D.
So just from my perspective, driving out of my subdivision, coming on into Demorest, there was some type of creature got in the trash bags
Oh, I saw that this
of
morning.
my neighbors,
Yeah.
and just scattered it everywhere. Now, let's say we decide, well, the prudent thing to do is to just limp along, and somebody has that going on.
Well, they had a big
3
rock
of them.
on top of the trash.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and that did a lot of good to it. But if we can't provide the service, but we've still got messes to clean up. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Your trash gets torn into by a bear
Yeah.
and our truck is limping,
Oh,
can't get out there, you got a bunch of trash in your yard. And I've gotta drive by it and say, man, that Jimmy, he just needs to pick up his trash.
Because what happened this morning is like, they overloaded the can,
Yeah.
so it was hanging over, so something just stood up and was just pulling
Full of trash.
pulling from the side.
What's that, Haversham Landing? Boy, that's a rough bunch of people.
And how old's our truck now?
Like 20 years.
That's pretty good life we've gotten out of it.
Yeah. 21.
And even though it's rusted, you could still use it as a recycling truck without the juices.
Well, part of it, we had to do a little work to it, to clean some of that stuff up.
Right.
It's just, you could, they can weld in a new plate on
Right.
the bottom, on the outside of it. Once it gets cleaned up, you can wrap it, with some kind of theme of recycling.
I don't need the rest of Wednesday to clean the new.
We've already put one or two folks on notice in their driveways because they don't maintain their driveways with trees. And, we told them you're gonna have to start putting your can out here because they shouldn't be driving down some of these long driveways and then they have to back all the way out.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So, a lot of times it's some older folks, they can't afford to fix it. And
Right.
so,
And can't get the trash can down.
yeah.
I have a neighbor like that.
But again, driving in some of these driveways, it hits a power line with some of these
Yeah.
limbs. So,
And a bigger truck would be more of an
Yep.
issue with that.
Yep.
So did y'all investigate trading this truck in, or is that an option at all?
For $15,000, I don't think it's worth it.
15?
I
No,
don't
it's
think it's
not
worth it.
worth it.
I think you can sell it more on the market to
Just
15
local.
grand,
Yeah,
but with, $15,000, I don't think it's gonna be very long before you start seeing a call for more recycling.
I think the
This is a good
recycling option
backup
is
too.
good.
yeah.
That we don't have to, we're fortunate we had Clarksville back this
Yes.
up.
Correct. All right, any more discussion? All right, let's move on to discussion of permit fees. Mark, what do you have?
This is following up through us with Jesse Owen in getting our fees up to date and including options. Jerry and I and Megan met on this afternoon, and Jerry made some points, and we had a discussion with Jesse. Part of this at the top right here, this is on your residential building permits. These items, this is like a cafeteria plan, if you're remodeling or if you are building brand new. So there's some things like your HVAC, your mechanical permits, things of that sort are all lumped together in this price of $1,250. And you're gonna have to have a certificate of occupancy, you would add that 50. There's some discussion whether you can get a driveway permit now. That was something that Jessie suggested because she called around and did a study of other municipalities on what their fees are for construction fees. And so, we're still gonna have some of those discussions tomorrow and the next day. Just like if you wanted a pool, you wanted a deck that's bigger than 200 square feet. So you would add these up, and right now we are at maybe $800 total. On the permit, $850. So this is creating some additional revenue sources by building these numbers like this. That's the first page. And for some reason you start work without the permits, it's gonna be double permit when you come in to get that, like code enforcement or somebody.
So we're talking, if you build a new house That's
It
what
could cost you $1,700 or so.
Right, okay. But these aren't, if I wanted to replace a broken window,
That's just you replacing it, but if you come in and you want to remodel and tear down part of the structure, you would get, you're not getting this other new construction. You can start right here where it says demolition. You're demolishing the entire structure, or you're demoing just the interior. And then you would see, you would get an individual permit for your 3 mechanicals if you're changing those. Your land disturbance, your insulation replacement. If you're adding gas appliances, you would get your plumbing. And again, you've got your temporary electric pole fee.
okay,
Window replacement would be if you're remodeling like that. Because that's when the inspector's coming out there to hit your mechanicals and look at your framing and things of that sort.
okay.
So I got some comments. So my first comment is I'd like to see the top fee of around $1,000. I think the permit should come with a driveway permit, so I'd like to strike that one. Dumpster permit, I think we should strike that one altogether, because everybody should have a dumpster. We shouldn't fine them for having a dumpster, or charge a fee for that. HVAC replacement, so if your air goes out on a Friday night,
This is on that.
nope, it says replacement.
Well, the odds of you on a Friday night getting somebody to come on there on Saturday, they're coming. I wouldn't think the city would ever know about that.
I know.
Yeah, but that's
I
right.
want to build something
That's right.
that would think that we know people are gonna,
Well,
not abide
But we can adjust that however verbiage you want that to be, because technically it should be inspected
by. It
because.
should be inspected during a new home. And I think that even looking down through here, this whole thing was built under a new home or a remodel
Right.
or a land disturbance permit, but then we have yard sales and estate sales in here for $75, which should be struck. I think that we should probably have another set of schedules, maybe outlined out that maybe not the replacement HVAC we should strike replacement. And that should just be inspection period. They usually inspect the HVAC during the electrical. I really don't know if that should be even on there.
And if you have your air conditioner replaced, is anybody gonna come inspect it?
No.
No,
That's what I'm saying too,
yeah,
but I took this as your demo and you're remodeling a house. And you're replacing all 3 of the mechanicals.
right,
And that's where the inspector would see that. That's my thought process, not because it went out. You're just called the guy and he's coming.
To replace a unit.
Yeah. And that gets into low voltage and high voltage.
right.
So,
Retaining walls, they have their engineer. We need to add something on there about 4 foot minimum, so if it's more than 4 foot, you gotta jump through some hoops. But nobody should stop me from building a little landscape wall in my flower bed. And send in engineering plans.
yeah,
I think we should probably see a separate permit schedule for, just add-ons. If I wanted, to put a retaining wall in my yard over 5 feet tall, then I wouldn't have to pay the $1,000 and plus this fee. I think it should be.
I don't take it as that because that's a new construction for a single family home.
Yeah.
But that's a fair question. If that's all I need, how is that calculated? But yeah, that's fair.
Can we take this?
Yes.
I think the CO should be included in the new construction permit.
Can we just take this, push it till next month? Let's do that.
But I need y'all's,
Right.
I need y'all's
Yeah.
comments though.
Sure.
Y'all have any comments now as we push it to the next month?
Maybe it needs to have a remodel fee schedule versus
Yeah, a whole separate sheet,
Yeah.
whole
Like an
separate list.
emergency situation where where your HVAC goes out and let's say you've got that really great insulation in your attic and that's where your HVAC system is and it goes squirting water all over it. Well, do I have to pay the HVAC replacement and insulation
I
replacement?
mean, I think on the replacement, I don't even think it needs to be on here.
And also feel
I don't think
like,
that's fair.
Because again, the city's never gonna know if your AC goes out.
Yeah, but we should.
Yeah, but I'm all about doing the right thing. I'm
No,
gonna
I
look at
got
this list and say, my HVAC went out and peed all over my insulation. I'm gonna have to pay, what is it?
$100, yeah.
I'm gonna have to pay $100, I'm gonna have to pay $175 on top of putting all that stuff in there.
But wait, they broke a deck once, you gotta repair another $150.
Yeah.
For the whole deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to-
Where that
what
tree
That's
fell.
right, that's right. Well, and that's my concern about the remodel. You know, I feel like if it's a remodel and you're making structural changes, then you get a permit. But, you know, we're talking about changing siding on the house next door to us. Simple. It's a simple change, you know?
Well, I will tell you, in the international code, when you re-roof a house,
Yeah,
not build a new roof, but when
Right.
you re-roof,
right,
replace your shingles,
right.
it calls for the inspection of that.
Inspection of the machine.
And remember, we adopted that international code.
Yeah. And I kind of see, I mean, because,
So-
you know, April's job with Lowe's, you know, she's over the Florida market. And I do see that being necessary for permits because, you know, they're having to put hurricane strength windows in, you know. But here, not very much, you know, so anyway. All right, then let's table this. I'll give some comments.
But please, I challenge each of y'all
Yes.
to spend some time on this.
Let's look at the other pages, we made. The second one there is your construction fee on the commercial side. You can see the dollar amounts with the square footage from 0 to 5,000 square feet is $400. Then you go through and you pick up your items. But if you wanna take some of these off, like the dumpster, you know, some of those things, please tell me and we'll make that, we can redo this. Cause again, you got your land disturbance, you got plumbing, you get all your HVACs, I mean, your mechanicals in there too. So, I'm fine for y'all to tell me to take something off, I have no problem. I just had to get this in front of y'all, for us to have this conversation.
No, I think these need to be updated, we need some proper forms put together, that we need to modify a little bit.
And that's what Jesse and I and Megan are doing. And, so we have a whole slew of forms for Megan and I to go through and to make those available online once we go through that. And we're doing that. You can see the permit fees there. You can see, look at the last page, which is the, planning and zoning fees. Annexation, $500. When we go through for the historic society, I mean, the historic certificate of appropriateness, there's fees, subdivision, sign permit, special use variance, and, et cetera. So if y'all have any comments or on the dollar amounts, like I said, she took these as a average from other cities.
Very good. Next is opioid. What do we need to do for this?
We need for you all to, approve participation, and this has to do with, the Stackler Purdue, opioid case, they, with the decision by the Supreme Court, and went back down to the bankruptcy court, they finally came to an agreement as to what they were gonna pay the state and local governments, and it's about $7.5, $8 billion, somewhere in there.
6.5,
6.5.
over 15 years.
And so, but it's an opt-in settlement, so you'll have to, vote to opt into it and authorize the mayor next necessary documents. There'll be another one, with some of the other manufacturers and manufacturing generics. But we do not have, the participation documents from the paper firm yet.
Very good. So you just need approval authorizing us to participate in this and receive funds.
And Jay to sign off.
All right, next is amendment. I guess chapter 42 of the code of ordinance. Thomas, first reading. You want to do this now or do this later?
It's on the next agenda.
Do it now with just the agenda.
No,
No.
it's the lawful.
Yeah, what this is about is we've got in our offenses, provisions in our ordinances, we have disruption of a public meeting, and one of the things that I've learned during the city attorney's thing in Savannah, is the way ours is drafted is probably not constitutional. And so the language that you have before you is based on a couple that, the attorney spoke, said that those pass constitutional muster. And so we haven't, I don't know that we've ever had to use this ordinance.
What is it for?
It's if you disrupt a public meeting, or someone came and disrupted the parade on July the 4th, or the concert on July the 4th, or really any kind of gathering, a church, assembly over Piedmont, anything. And there's ours doesn't have an intent requirement necessary, and so the one that proposed does.
Shall be unlawful to prevent, disrupt, or obstruct. I'll stay calm. All right, thank you. All right, is that all you got for us? Okay. All right, let's take a 5-minute break and we'll meet up top.
We have an executive session.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I think they're going in there. Okay.
All right, y'all pray with me, then we'll do the pledge. Lord, we're grateful to have everyone here tonight. We ask that you watch over our families. We ask that you watch over our loved ones. We ask that you watch over our community members that's had a fire this evening. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up, we have approval of the agenda. I know that we have one thing we're going to table on the table and get to it. Is there anything else y'all would like to add or take away? Thomas, do you have anything you would like to add or take away?
No.
Okay.
Take off number 10.
Yes, sir.
I think that's what he was just talking about.
Okay. Strike number 10.
He said we're gonna take.
12 we'll table when we get to it. Anything else?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as is,
Thank you, sir. Second?
As amended.
As amended.
as amended later.
All those in favor? Very good. All right, we'll open it up for appearance and public comment. Anyone here with anything they would like to say?
My question is this, because I have houses in Demorest, I'm concerned about the permit situation. I know that y'all are gonna table it, but I want to know, does the citizens have any right to say what they believe in the permit situation?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So since we are going to table it, make sure you reach out to everybody and get a copy of them and therefore look at them so you can have some input in that. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that.
Feel free to call me, I'm glad to meet with you.
Okay, because I want to do some remodeling, and like I say, I do have homes that I do have to take back time to time and remodel. And my questions would be, what would be, I would be required as permits. And I like Jerry's suggestion about not getting a permit for dumpsters, because of course you always have to have a dumpster. And they are getting expensive enough as it is without a permit already adding to it.
Yeah, I think that's unnecessary. But I think they do need to be looked at, kind of going through, and that's what we're gonna do over the next month. So your input would be needed, so thank you.
So I have a question. According to what Mark said, if you have to replace your roof, then you have to get a permit for that now?
That's what's on the first proposal, so that's what we're gonna take.
If they wanna take it off, that's fine, Ms. Ruth, but when we adopted that international code of building, it states it in there, so Jesse was bringing this forward as something that's in that code that we approved. Now, whether we want to enforce that or not, that's up to these guys.
And
Pretty much that, there's several of them that's like that too. The deck is over 200 feet, you have to get one.
And pretty much that, those minimal fees is just kind of covering the inspector to come look at it, so. And also it's given a record at City Hall of kind of keeping on track in case anybody wants to know when something was done.
But y'all want people to not let their homes go down. If you're gonna force them to pay fees, that's gonna encourage people to not fix their place up.
Yes, ma'am. I think everybody needs to spend some time on those fees and have some conversations about it. Thanks for your input. Anybody else? All right, let's move on to approval of the minutes. It's on tab 8. These were emailed out to you. You had time to review them. We'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor to approve the minutes as written? Next, we'll open it up for a public hearing. Thomas, do you want to have this on the public hearing? Yes. Thank you, sir.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's before you is an amendment to the zoning ordinance. It's to repeal what is currently section 89-99, which pertains to mobile homes, manufactured homes, and mobile manufactured home parks. What the amendment does is create certain rules and regulations with regard to bringing manufactured and mobile homes into the city. After we adopted the zoning ordinance, began discussion, we realized that we actually had a mobile home park in the city that needed to be accommodated. And so we amended our map to accommodate that existing mobile home park. But it also led us to the conclusion that we needed to amend the rules and regulations for the mobile homes that are, when you can bring them in, how you bring them in, what age they have to be, and things like that. So if there's any questions or any comments, we can hear those now.
Talk about the age.
The what?
The age.
Oh, it effectively prohibits bringing in used mobile or manufactured homes unless the person who's bringing it in has lived in it themselves in the last 12 months. And so what it really seeks to do is limit the placement of new or bring in new and existing or new mobile homes to the existing mobile home park that's in the city, and not placement elsewhere.
And this would go into effect on any new applications starting in the morning?
Correct. If the council adopts it.
All right, this is a public hearing. Do we have anybody here who'd like to speak on behalf of that?
I do have a couple questions, and I'm here to answer any questions as well. But as far as
your question is public hearing.
okay, just on 3C, it says no mover, hauler, person, form shall move a home into Demorest.
I'm sorry, so who are you?
I'm sorry, I'm Zane Stewart. I'm the owner of Northside Mobile Home Park.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, your question?
It's not really a question. It's more of a statement. It says move a mobile home into Demorest. It almost states that it says no mover, hauler, person, form, corporation, or other entity shall move a mobile home into Demorest. So that seems to me that nobody's allowed to move a home, whether new or used, into Demorest, and that's Exhibit A3C, number 2.
Well, Section 3 allows you to get a permit to do that as long as you comply with the rest of the ordinance.
I'm sorry?
Section 3 allows you to do that as long as you get a permit and you comply with the rest of the ordinance.
Okay, so now the question is, why would it state that a corporation who's licensed not be able to move a home into Demorest?
Because the default rule in Demorest is they don't want to allow any more mobile homes other than in the mobile home park.
Understand completely. Thank you for that. There was one other question that I was just briefly skimming over here. It says that the skirting is approved from the manufacturers, or whatever skirting would be approved by the manufacturer. I'm sorry? I'd have to look at it again. I just skimmed through it, but it was stating that the skirting would be approved, or whatever type of skirting would be approved from the manufacturer, but then it says that vinyl is prohibited. Of course, now I can't find
I'm
it.
looking at 2C. I don't see where he says about vinyl.
Yeah, it's in another section, but this says approved manufactured home park shall be completely underpinned and skirted, or other approved manufacturers underpinning kits.
And underpinning kits are vinyl, correct?
I would assume so, yes. But then it states, I saw it somewhere else.
Would approve the 2D.
It says.
Okay, it's under Exhibit A, 6U. It says, I'm sorry, K, skirting, and at the very end of that sentence, it says vinyl is prohibited.
So So in C and D under 2, installation of manufactured homes, it says newly installed manufactured homes shall be underpinned and skirted with approved masonry, metallic, non-metallic wooden or other approved manufacturer underpinning kits. Then it says, in the next one, each existing, that's for newly installed, existing mobile homes and manufactured homes in Demorest, and not located in a manufactured home park shall be completely underpinned and skirted with approved, and it's the same language. And then 6 is manufactured home minimum standards, and that is where it deals with skirting. It says they shall be, it's required to be in accordance with the building inspector. It gives a list of acceptable materials and then says vinyl is prohibited. So, I mean, vinyl can't be used if that's what, if that's an option that the manufacturer allows. At least if you're going to move it into Demorest, vinyl's not allowed.
So if I move a new home into the existing park, and even though the manufacturer allows vinyl, you're saying that I can't have the vinyl?
If the manufacturing kit is vinyl, if you move it into Demorest, it's got to be something else.
So when the home is moved, the skirting is not, that's something that you do after the home is set.
Right.
So that's my question is, say I move a new home in, the skirting is something that you do after. So it's set. On the other thing that you read, it says that is whatever is acceptable to the manufacturer. So if I go to the manufacturer, they're going to say, yes, by all means, vinyl skirting is acceptable, but here it states vinyl is prohibited.
It says shall be skirted with approved masonry, metallic, non-metallic wooden, or other approved manufacturer underpinning kit. So if there's something other approved, it can, but it can't be vinyl.
So other, but it can't be vinyl.
Correct.
Council, y'all have the right to modify that if it's.
And my only suggestion is that I just would want to make it look like everything else in there. Correct. And every other home in the park has vinyl skirting as well.
So can we change that to allow vinyl skirting in free homes?
What's consistent with the area?
I'm sorry, sir?
What's consistent with the area?
They're all vinyl. And what the issue that a lot of times happens is that when they're weed eating, if someone's not careful, they will puncture holes. But what we've had my guys do is go and put some Roundup or weed killer a couple feet outside of the skirting so that you don't have the issue. It really, if you don't allow it for this one, it's going to stick out. It's not going to be uniform, so to speak.
And we'll want to make that change.
Maybe we need to do vinyl without all of it.
Okay.
I mean, how many, I don't know if y'all are as familiar with trailer design, but just about 90% of them, as you drive by, that I drive by, have some type of busted vinyl underneath them. And that's where the cats go in, and that's where, you know, I mean, that's just, so without holders, who's gonna police that?
Well, it would be a code enforcement thing. It would be code enforcement, so it could say, vinyl's allowed, it has to be maintained.
One thing I will state is the new homes that I'm intending on adding, some of those homes are rent to own, which the tenants currently will own them. But for me, it's protecting my investment as well. So just as much as you don't want holes in them, I don't want holes in them. You know, I'm going to protect my investment because I don't want rodents or anything getting through those holes either. So I would support that. So I wouldn't want holes in the vinyl either.
Thomas, Zane brings up a good point. There's a trailer out there with tarps over the top. Zane, correct me if I'm wrong, you own, per the tax digest, the trailers and the land.
Own some of them, yes, sir, but not all of them, not the one that you're speaking of. And here's the issue with that is that it's a tenant who is doing a rent-to-own program. That's the contract. The contract states that the tenant is to make the repairs. Mark and I have discussed this. The issue is they just don't have the money to make the repairs. So if the city wants to go out and, you know, enforce that, that they can't afford it. They're barely being able to make their rent payment now, but if that's
And
something you.
that's where Dave gets caught in the situation, because technically, the tax shows they ain't gonna see the cost. But his individual contract says they must maintain it. We don't have anything with that person that has anything to do with that. So that one out there is just sitting out there as a possibility because of disagreement that they have. But it is a real problem. If you were right out there looking for the cars. Now, the overall budget looks great.
Yeah, that is the only issue, and you know, from my perspective, coming into this, I just wanted to make it better. So if that tenant did leave, or if you guys, at the end of the day, it would be me to tell that homeowner, the agreement is that you have to maintain it. We've gotten by this far. Now the city's enforcing me. I have to enforce you. I don't know what kind of pushback you guys will get. If you want it, fine. That's up to y'all. But I'm just saying that they don't have the money, and if they left, I don't know where they would go. You know, exceptions to the rule. You tell me, and I'll do what you say. That's what I wanted to do from the beginning of this.
That's a code enforcement issue.
Well, I understand, but it was just a good segue for folks to understand. That was it.
What do y'all want to do about the
Well,
provision regarding
let's
fines?
see if there's any other changes. Maybe you got something else you want to point out.
Megan just gave me this. I think it was a new updated version.
It's the same thing that was before. It's just been
Okay,
reformatted.
yeah, just so that I have the ability to replace an older home if I decide to demo it with a newer home. That's all I'm asking for.
What this effectively requires is it be a new home.
No objection.
Okay.
And that I'm allowed to vinyl it. You know, I would prefer that.
Did you have anything else?
And to answer any questions that you would have for me.
All right, it is a public hearing. Is anybody else here ready to speak on this subject? All right, council, if y'all have any modifications y'all would like to make to this that's outlined in front of you? Anybody here to speak against it?
I think the other opinions should be consistent with the other terms. Whether it be vinyl or whatever it is.
Okay. So you would like to modify that to allow vinyl, Jimmy?
If it's consistent with the other terms.
Donnie, what's your opinion?
This is the only trailer park
Only one.
in the city limits.
Correct.
I mean, that, it's not sweeping anything, it's one trailer park. I mean, I'd be fine with that, as long as it's kept up and is on the radar of the enforcement. And if it is on the radar of the enforcement, we have your
I will tell you this.
handshake that you will take care of.
My word's all I have. So, I mean, I can, selfishly, if you guys enforce it, I would demo the existing home that Mr. Muswell is referring to. The tenants would relocate and I'd put a newer, nicer home there. It would, at the end of the day, benefit me. That's selfish. I hate that they have to relocate, but either they take care of the property according to the agreement or they relocate. If you guys want to enforce it, you'd be doing me a favor, to be perfectly honest with you.
Something for Dave, that's all.
Guys, thoughts? All right, Andrew, you want to strike vinyl as well?
I'm on that,
I'm sorry, sir?
I agree with Don, I think this,
Just needs to be
yeah.
taken care of. All right. So, Thomas, is this second reading, correct?
Yes, I'll remove that sentence and send Megan the updated version.
All right, very good. We need a motion to go ahead and approve this as written, striking vinyl is prohibited under 6A. Thank you, sir. We got a second? All those in favor? Very good. Thanks, guys.
was supposed to make the vote under number 7, but it's okay.
Okay.
I'll add it to it.
Next is consideration of the ACG proposals.
I'm sorry, may I ask a question? Will I also be able to get a permit?
Get one tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
You
it.
don't have to stay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Call me.
All right, next is the ACG proposals. It's in your packet we discussed. Let's first talk about the police server. The server, after installation this is just for GCIC, correct? This is just for GCIC, this isn't your server, okay. That total on that is $14,761. For hardware and installation for the GCIC server. That deadline for us to have that installed is October 14th. Gentlemen, what would y'all like to do?
I still say, is GCIC being profitable?
All right, let's turn to your financials. Well, for the month, it's $7,900. I'm sorry, it's 62,909, and this, I don't have the budget.
Yeah, this is it. I'm trying.
All right.
It's 100,3,230.
Say that again.
100,3,230.
You know about the account number.
Is that what y'all are looking at?
Well, he's,
I was just looking for all of it. So year to date, they've generated $62,908.68.
what's our budget amount?
Our budget amount, original budget is $150,000.
So they're running behind, this is usually, this is through June, these statements are, so they're not at 50% at this point in time. Remember, we had a reduction in this coming from our budget year from 2024, because there were some larger expectations and we didn't make it. Jason?
Those, servers are also good courtware also. Servers will also handle the courtware. This is June, so we got 2 months. And normally, by the end of the year, because people have seasonal work for Christmas and that kind of stuff, we normally pick up at the end of the year.
What does it do for, what does the server do for the court?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a computer person, but GCIC is how we do things. Amanda gets in there, runs names, and all sorts of. She uses that as well.
For your officers?
No, we use GCIC in the cars as well.
Sure.
But
they use, like, when they, it's hard for me to explain, but when they have a court, she has to go in there and check and see if somebody suspended.
But these servers, you use GCIs for that.
Well, what'll happen is, my understanding, what he was saying is, they won't be able to get the returns if they keep the same thing they've had. So when you go put it, you can put it in there, you won't get any information back. You won't have to go with the new update.
And I will tell you, if you're unable to update your own information, warrants and dismissals and those kind of things, you can create liability for the city. Frankly, this is one of those things that's not really whether it's profitable or not. It's something that if you're gonna have a police department, a court system, you need this.
That was kind of what I was thinking.
I figured.
All the expenses are spread over several different things. He did the.
All right, council, it sounds like one way or another, whether you do it now or do it later, you're gonna have to do it, so. Do we entertain a motion or a table for the, GCIC server?
I'll go ahead and make a motion for the GCIC, server, $14,761.70.
Okay, do we have a second? All those in favor? Next is replacement for the, computers, Windows 11 computers. How many did you say, 8?
Yes.
Which brings that to a total of $17,201.92.
These are throughout the city, right?
Yes, it's just the hard drive and everything from the computers have to be updated and replaced.
I'll give you a piece of anecdotal information about this one. In the last week, 2 of the larger firms in Gwinnett County have gotten hit with pretty sophisticated hacks. And I'm certain that both of those firms have the most up-to-date cyber technology there is. So I would suggest to you this is probably also something not to mess around with.
I'll make a motion that we accept 020653 replacement for Windows 11.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration of the SRO vehicle proposal. This is a reimbursement for
That wasn't, that's just right, yeah, that was just for information.
For the police car. This is a 2019 Ford Explorer. The approval amount will be $17,728.29. That will be reimbursed to us by the school board. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the proposal.
Thank you,
Is there
sir.
a second?
All
Those in favor? Consideration of the garbage truck. I'll have this outlined in front of us. We've had some conversations about it, but y'all don't have any more conversations.
Yeah, can you please outline again the differences between the higher end truck and my recommendation was for that one over the other one.
The higher cost.
Everyone safe, sir?
So everybody is safe. Lucky.
I've got the spec sheets there, we can go line by line, or I can give you a description. There's a big difference in the Mack truck with the size of the engine to the Freightliner to get the Cummins engine. The other one is a diesel, but it is not as large as this truck. as is explained to me, and the mechanics of the truck, working on the truck, I use Mark Caudell's point of view for servicing the truck. And the source of location of anybody that would have to work on the truck is all in the Gainesville, Gwinnett area. But it comes down to the quality of the truck from Brian's point of view and his recommendation, and the quality of the back end on there, and how each one operates more so than the other one. But that's the general take on that. And again, I get what you're saying, but Brian really wasn't interested in the Mack truck. If you don't want to do the Freightliner,
I was wondering what the difference, why he prefers this over the other.
he just thought the quality of the truck and the bed company on there. But he doesn't, be honest with you there, he didn't give the Mack much of a choice. He didn't even care to ride it because he's driven it before. He just saw the quality just not be.
And Mark's the same way.
Yeah. So there's the difference of being the main difference there. He said it's night and day different. I thought the Mack truck looked good, but when I hear what he said, in general comments between the two sales guys, now, you know, they can get there, they can go down to a lesser truck with sensing. That was the truck that he and I talked about. There's cheaper items, just like anything that's spec built. A house can be cheaper, and you get less bells and whistles. So that's just a matter of preference.
And have we investigated other companies?
I investigated these two companies, because these were the two that were at GMA down there. And so, you know, I'm sure there's others out there. So, but if y'all want me to get more, we can get more. That's not a problem.
Typically, these more than one bid.
There's two here.
Yeah, and so I asked about that when I met this one guy. What was that program you said you ran it through?
It's like a second.
Okay, what is it? There's some kind of program they learned.
Sourcewell contract discounts. That's on the second page of theirs. Also, it has the additional warranties on here. It comes with its 1 year hydraulics warranty, 2 year cylinder warranty, and 1 year body warranty. And they extended the 2 year hydraulic warranty, a 2 year on the body, and 4 year on the cylinder. So they added that. And when it goes to this Sourcewell, this is a program that the city has signed up through somewhere along the way, where the Sourcewell company gives, they go out, they check these, and they've gone through the specs and so forth, and they give us a recommendation. That is, the other company doesn't use Sourcewell.
And that Sourcewell,
I think that's what we used on one of the fire truck.
yeah,
Original fire truck wasn't purchased.
the Sourcewell goes out to shops, like all the places to make sure it is the cheapest.
Kind of a clearinghouse.
Yeah, they gave us another 4% discount off of that.
How about, motor warranty? Where's that? The transmission warranty?
I just have to, like, you just start looking.
Okay, those are you get off the top of your head.
No,
I see the other warranties outlined.
and sometimes it's good for y'all to ask me these questions ahead of time, so I can have,
I can just,
you know, I understand. Because when I don't hear anything, and then y'all ask a question here, it makes it a little more difficult. So, whatever, I would just have to say, argue and say, whatever Cummings engine is what it is. I mean, it's not like there's gonna be anything different for the city of Memphis buying this truck than it is for the free market out there. And you have to use a Cummings mechanic dealership.
I think with Mark being our 98% and him putting the thumbs up on the Mac, I think that's good enough.
Not thumbs up on the Mac, on the brake light.
The freight. then that's good enough for me, because he will be the one who's performing maintenance. He will be the person who knows most of items.
Brian also highlighted the cart tipper on the first truck as well. He says that it's better on that truck than the other truck.
I can't hear. The cart tipper is better on the first one.
Brian has a problem with the company that made the bed that on the back of the existing truck. This company here bought out that company. And he just has a real heartburn with everything about that bed on that existing truck because of the issues. And again, 20 years old, they got been 25 to re-weld and try to reshape it and things. So, you know, the best thing I thought that my truck had on it, where they throw those bags of trash into a hopper, which is in the back. So all that juice starts right there. On the Freightliner, you gotta go up underneath there to pull the plug. On the Mack truck, it's on the side. So you never have to get yourself gunked up trying to get your hand back. So that's just one of the interesting things I've ever had. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I understand that the guys down there, if you ask me, do you want a Cadillac or a Volkswagen? I'm gonna tell you I want a Cadillac, but are we getting the best bang for our buck? This is a lot of money.
Would you like to table it, chop around a little bit more?
I think I would like to table this for at least a month.
Okay, council, we have a second on that?
I'll see the money for, on the Mack truck, on their page, just like, well, maybe that's not.
Yeah. Council, do we have a second to table? Or do we have a motion to accept one? We can table, what's more?
And then when the neighbor's trash needs to be picked up, people pick it up. I mean, we're not buying ballpoint pens, we're buying a vehicle that services our entire community.
For $250,000.
How much is your trash worth?
$16 a month.
Right? Thank goodness for that $16 a month.
I'm not saying we don't need one, I'm just saying, are we getting the best value for our money? This is a lot of money.
And we can get a cheaper one and then blow up tomorrow. I don't understand. We can get something that's been vetted,
I'm not saying
that says it's good.
Mark, the other gentleman that came to your office,
Chris
Chris,
and Lance. Lance was the first one with the Freightliner. He's the one that was there when,
no, the other guy, the older gentleman.
Johnny.
Yeah, so what's his number?
He put us on to this sales guy.
Okay, I just wondered what his numbers roughly were.
Yeah, he has something to do with this company, so he referred it to the salesman,
Okay.
Chris. I got a salesman that comes by once a month trying to sell everything. Yeah. That 80 years old.
All right, council, what would you like to do? We have one table on the floor.
I think this side's made their opinions known.
Did you make a motion
Would you like to make a motion to purchase?
There's already one on the floor, thank you.
to purchase the?
There's one already on the floor. Thank you.
Motion to table it till next month.
Motion to table has failed. Do y'all want to move forward to purchase?
engine service, but oil change.
The simple stuff like that,
Yes.
right? But he's not gonna be the one working on the
You'll,
compacting mechanism.
No.
So-
both of those are the two separate companies.
Okay, so let's, all right, I know it was your last prior, you gave us warranty on the first truck that Brian recommends, hydraulic warranty. On the second truck, what's the warranty on the same components? Is this what manufacturers recommend?
I would say
Well-
because they didn't specify it on the sales from, on the Mac. So I'm looking back on the loader right here.
Okay, so I see a 4-year cylinder warranty on the Mac, on the first truck, the Mac showing 2-year cylinder warranty. But then body warranty, 1 year.
Where did you see that on the Mac?
On there, just the curve page 11.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right there.
Oh, I see it, right, okay.
Alright, I know you did, you said.
Yeah,
Mark, I'd like to ask a favor. I know it's, not to go back and say, hey, if you guys can actually tell, I would be curious if you heard Tim to do the same thing. As
sure, I can ask that because it's a 2-year, and a 2-year on the hydraulic, 2 on the body, and 4 on the cylinder.
Right, I would be curious if you do that.
That's fine, I have no problem doing that.
It sounds to me like it's the same engine, they're both have a company.
No, one's a Mac, one's a Cummins.
Well, they do have the Cummins engine.
Right.
The one in the Mac is smaller.
Okay.
Oh, it's a little small number, yeah.
Because again, you gotta think about these trucks. They're going majority of the time 10 miles an hour or less, and they're running all day constant. There's never any real speed until they go to the landfill. And so it's just a lot of putting for the most part.
All right, gentlemen, motion to table is failed. How would you like to proceed? All right, with no motion.
I'm fine, I'll make a motion for the first one. That's from the Samsung Equipment Company for the 229 512.
It should be a 2-part motion with a part on financing.
Financing through GMA.
Okay. For how many years?
It was 5 or 7. It was
7.
All right, we have a motion on the table to move forward with the $229,000 truck with 7-year finance.
Second.
All those in favor to move forward with that? All those no?
I'm gonna say aye, I'm good, bye,
Do a yes?
yes.
All those no? No. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move over to consideration of permit fee schedules. We discussed tabling that one. We need a motion to table that. Fee schedules. Sir?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, sir. A second? Second. All those in favor of the table? Next is execution of the opioid settlement documents. We need a motion to,
Opt in and I'll authorize the mayor to execute.
when the motion is stated, do we have that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Next is consideration of amendment to chapter 42, or ordinance 42. This is a first reading. We talked about it in the work session. We'll need to put that on as a second reading next month, correct?
Right.
Y'all have anything y'all would like to add on that first reading of unlawful disturbance of public gatherings?
This doesn't prevent, like, somebody doing just a general protest, right?
No, it's not the purpose of this is that if someone sets about to knowingly disrupt the meeting, if people want to stand along the wall with signs, that doesn't violate this ordinance. If they step up in front of y'all and hold the signs up in front of your faces, that violates the ordinance.
Very good.
All right. We'll see that next month. Manager's report. Mark, what do you have for us?
We are operating our wastewater and our drinking water system in our permits. Brian and his crews had 21 emergency locates, 368 locates, 256 work orders, 14 leaks. Water loss for the month is 413,000 gallons. In Edwin has serviced, I'm sorry, let me go back. New meter sets is a total of 16. So round number, that's $48,000 of water meters that were sold in the month of June. The water consumption is 46 million gallons from Baldwin, 7 million from Toccoa, and 7 million from the Mize well, for a total round number of 60 million gallons used in the month of June. When you think about the heat, look how hot it's been in the month of July, in the month of June for people. So I expect to see a big jump in that number in the month of July water sales. And what I was going to say about Edwin is he serviced 124 fire hydrants in the month of June by himself. And it's raining. Obviously, he's not going out there. He can't paint them and do everything in rain with that. So that is on this Monday through Friday when it is not raining on there. Casey had 413 calls with the police department. That's an average of 14 calls per day. 7 domestic violence calls, 2 physical and 5 verbal. 10 accidents reported. 172 traffic stops with 54 citations, which equates to 31% ticket writing as opposed to a warrant. Officers completed 9 incident reports. Officers made 4 arrests. Officers completed 65 hours of training. On the Demorest Fire Department, they had a total of 71 calls for the month of June, being 2.36 calls per day. He had 22 calls, or 31% of EMS calls. They had 30% of dispatch and cancer calls, meaning 21. That's 61% of his calls. The next biggest round would have been checking on somebody with assist at 7.1 calls. That's the 3 biggest accounts of their activity. Total calls for the month through June 30th is 450, and that's 2.5 on average calls per day. We paid Baldwin $119,000 for the month of June water, and Toccoa $17,000, and we received our SPLOST proceeds of $36,439, and that's getting near the highest point we've been receiving. Typically, we were around $30,000 to $33,000 a month, and we took advances from the water fund of $186,000, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And we did receive $82,000 in LMIG money from the 2 LMIGs that are coming up. And I had mentioned earlier that the budget starts on August the 13th, with each of the department heads and Megan and myself. So we will begin the process on that day. Going to the financials. Total general fund, $276,000. Again, looking on the left is the June 30th, but they carried it forward through today by the CPA through August 5th. As of today, our balances are $284,000. And, we have a balance of SPOS of $409,000, we've got $36,000. And then when you look to the right of it, it shows 445, that's because we've gotten the July payment in there when they balance for cash balances, but we're always 30 days behind. Total cash is 3.4 for June 30th, total cash for today is 3.5. And total operating cash is $685,000 and $763,000 as of today. Go down about 3 blocks down, you can see the general fund was $219,000, water and sewer fund was $661 for a total of $880. And our months of liquidity have continued to increase. We're looking for a goal of 3 months to 6 months, and we have 3.91 months covered with the cash as our liquidity on hand. The next page shows you our monthly debts. Right now, our monthly debts on the 3 Jeep loans is $26,000. Our bond debt payment for the month is $35,000, and that totals $62,000. And we will add $3,300 a month to that total right there for those funds. Go to page 3. It will show you the total revenues for the city and for its lost dollars there. You will see expenditures of general government of $349, police and courts of $565, and fire of $389, and public works of $175,000. So that's where we had a shortfall from our total expenses, exceeding our revenue totals of the negative cash flow there of $732,000. On the other page, on page 4, you look under the current month, you will see the revenue source for the month is other revenues, and that $82,000 that's in there is the LA money for that total. So, like I said, our revenues for the month was $130,000. Our total expenses were $230,000. $230,000, and that's where we had to transfer water of $186. That puts us at a year-to-date total of $735,000, and at the rate right now, it will put us slightly above our goal of $1.4 million in water transfers. So that's something we will be watching very closely each month. Page 5 shows you the breakdown of the water revenues and total operating revenues of $668,000, and right at $4,100,000 on year-to-date water and sewer. On our total operating expenses, we're at $372,000, and a operating expenses for the year is $2.7 million, and with operating income of $1.4 million. When you turn the page there, I'll show you the budgeted amounts for these, and our budget gross income is $8 million. We're at $6.9 year to date with our totals there. So we're on track for our budget. You can see on the first line right there where the water is hitting at 50% through the 6 months. And then our sewer revenues are a little bit behind, because everything should be at 50% in the 6 months. 48% on one, 49%, and the revenues are at 50. You come down to the expense side, we're at 6.5 on our total expenses for the budgeted year, and we're at 3.2. So we're right under that point of where we're supposed to be on our expenses there. So that part is covered. The last page here is the SPOS dollars, which our balance being as of June 30th, 409, and so everything is online. There's nothing that I've got coming out right now from Lost Dollar, so at this point, the next one will be, Casey's, police car payment will be, that's $46,000 that it shows on there, on our debt service there, so that's that, I need one payment for him, and one payment on the fire truck for March and August of next year. So, we will be watching, as I say, those expenses for water transfers going forward, to make sure that we're hitting our budget amount of need for it.
Good question. Why is the sewer year-to-date expenses so low compared to budget?
That is, a great question, it's a good problem to have. Because if you look, what we are, we're averaging $540,000 a month on that year-to-date total. And our monthly average per our budget is $542,000 a month. So it's very close to that. It's just, I would say that we're on budget with that. And, but we've got some crazy numbers that come out with the chemicals and things that we have to do, especially when we have large rains and all the water gets into the manhole with that I. So we should, much of rain with those storms we've had, I would expect there to be some differences in there. But part of that is what Fletcher, Holiday, and EMI doing, and Matthew Speed are doing in that area.
There's a huge difference.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if we were gonna have, like, some expenses coming up.
I'm not aware of anything that's out of whack, but no, those will be things when Fletcher gets back on his feet and he'll be attending these budget meetings too, so next month, this month.
Very good. So how long was that?
I think that was a record, I don't know, I didn't have to go back.
Next, let's wrap this up with another appearance and public comment. Is anyone here that would like to speak? All right. I think that we do have a couple of things to go in the executive session for, Thomas.
Personnel, real estate, acquisition, and litigation.
Thank you, sir. We need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Very good.